unless I stretch their skill level. How do I do it? Because if they're at a certain skill level, I already know what to expect. But if I want to get more, how do I get more out of them until I'm able to stretch the skill level? So let me share something with you about delegation, and I'm going to show it to you. Because I can tell you for myself, I was very poor at delegation skills. And part of it was all of what we said, attitudes. I did not like getting the negative attitudes from people, and I figured, hey, if I'm going to get that, I don't even want to, I'll do it, and I could do it faster myself. And I could probably do it better myself, but I really did believe that people could do the task. Here's the dilemma that you and I face as a manager. The better you are at what you do, more gets put on your plate, right?
Yes.
Which means you don't have the time to take care of all those tasks. All right, now, let me share with you what delegation is not. It is not dumping tasks onto employees' desks or on their workstation or onto their responsibilities because I don't want to do them anymore. That's not what it is. But a lot of times, from the employee's perspective, when I'm giving them a task, I'm dumping. Here's why. I don't have time. So what do? Here, I need your help with this. I jotted down these 5 points. Just follow this. If you got any questions, send me an email, give me a call, right? And they feel like, hey, what is that? You're dumping on me. Let me explain delegation, and I'm going to literally walk you through and show you this in its mindset. And when I do, I think you're going to get a different view of delegation and see how valuable this skill is. Number one, delegation is intended to stretch the skill level of my player about 10 to 15%. That's why I delegate a task. It's not just because they can do it. For the most part, 85, 90%, yeah, they can do. But what am I trying to do? I'm trying to stretch them in their skill development about 10 to 15%. Now, some will say 20. I'm not saying that that's a bad number. I'm saying that if, as a manager, if delegation is a skill that you are newly developing, start by looking at stretching your players about 10 to 15%.
What would you do with the attitude, though?
We're going to get to that because the attitude's going to be there, okay? Let me just address the attitude right off the bat. Ready? Your go-getters, your self-starters who want to grow, they want to be stretched, right? So they'll accept it. But the people that you know have potential, but their attitude is a little resistant, at the end of the day, would this be fair to say? It's because they're working to be comfortable.
That's exactly.
Would that be it?
That's exactly it.
Now, but improvement and comfort cannot coexist. If I want to improve a skill in my life, if I want to improve knowledge and anything I want to improve, what that tells me is if I'm on a rung that has 10 steps and I'm on level 6, but I want to grow to level 8, the only way to get to level 8 is I got to let go of level 6 and what? Stretch, right? I got to go to 7 and then I got to go to 8. That's the only way that I'm going to develop myself. That's exactly what delegation skills are. I look at my players and I see where they're at so I know what they can give me. But I also have to be prepared that when I'm going to give them a task that is stretching them about 10 to 15%, I also need to be aware that I am moving them beyond their comfort zone. That's where the attitude's coming. Because I thought that I worked to be comfortable. No, we work to produce, right? And I believe in them. So I've got to work with them to try to help them see that this is not hard, you can do it, and I understand you're comfortable with doing this and you do a good job, but I'm looking to improve not only your skill, but I'm looking to improve our team's performance. This is going to help us reach a goal, achieve a goal, exceed a standard. See, I've got to help them see the benefit of why it's good for them or important for them to move beyond that place of where they're comfortable. Yes, ma'am.
For a someone that is a performer, their performance is important to them. This is like a blessing and a curse all in one. Because I have a friend, just a simple example, she's a bus monitor. But because she can handle the children well, they constantly move her from bus to bus. She'll get on the bus, she'll have the kids where they need to be, their number of write-ups decrease, she starts getting along with them. Next thing you know, she's like, they switched me in buses again. And I told her, I said, it's because you do well what you do.
Now question, what if we could reproduce her Right?
Yes.
Okay, now ready, here we go. I want to show you something. This is the strength of delegation. Let me give you a scenario, okay? I'm going to give you a scenario. Give me a couple of minutes. Let me give you a scenario, and then we're going to walk through it. Delegation skills require 3 other skills to do well, and I'm going to give them to you, okay? For a manager, a leader, a supervisor to understand delegation really well and let it serve them, here's what they're going to need to understand. Number 1, you have to have good communication skills. Because in order to delegate a task, you have to clearly communicate the what of the task and the why of the task, which means not just the nuances of it, but why it's important. What's going to be the impact of the task, okay? Number 2, I need good coaching skills. Because when I'm delegating a task, it's going to require me to do more training and take more time with that employee because I am stretching them. Other than that, they're going to think I'm dumping on them and that they got to figure it out themselves. So when I'm coaching them, I have not left their side. I'm helping them by visually watching and observing them, and I'm coaching them with instruction to when they get stuck to know how to do it, so that notice how to do what? How to get the results that I want. Okay, not just do a task, get the results that I want as a result from the task. So I need good communication skills, I need good coaching skills, and I need good time management skills. Because what's the number one pressure you and I have when it comes to delegation? Is it not that I just don't have the time? Right? And why do I say I don't have the time? Because we know it's going to take us more time to train somebody to do it. So we say it's easier if I do it myself. So I pay myself by doing it myself so I know it gets done. But what happens is more gets put on my plate. Now I've got other management responsibilities that are actually more important than this task, but I can't get to them because nobody else does this. And if I give it to somebody else, I'm going to have a mess that I'm going to have to clean up, and I don't like it, so I do it anyway, right? Is that the dilemma? Watch how this works now with delegation. Remember I said 3 skills: communication skills, coaching skills, and time management skills. So let's say I've got Christine. Christine, I know, is able to do this task. I know her strengths. I also know her weaknesses, but I know her strengths and her makeup is great for this task. She could do it. So when I approach Christine about the task, before I ever approach her, look at my calendar and say, gosh, this task that I'm doing, and I'm going to give it to you hypothetically, it takes me 2 hours a week to do it. But somebody else could do it. But if I'm going to train Christine, it's probably going to take me 6 hours to train her. I don't have 6 hours in a week. Are you kidding me? I don't have an extra 2 hours. So I almost dismiss the idea. But what if I use time management skills? Instead of looking over a period of a week or a day, I look over a month or 6 weeks. And I say to myself, in a month or a 6-week period of time, could I give Christine 6 hours to communicate with her and train her on how to do the task and why it's important and why I believe she's the best option for this? Could I do that? I look and go, yeah, I could probably build in 6 extra hours. All right, now my question is, how do I build? How do I do it? Now, watch the communication skills, coaching skills, and time management skills all merge together. I set a meeting with Christine, and I get with Christine, and I share with her the what of the task, the why of the task, and why I believe she is valuable and she'd be the best person for it. She sits and says, thanks, Ron. You know what? I'll do it. Okay, now, Christine, it's going to take 6 hours for me to help you learn this. Watch the process now. Christine, because I'm looking to build her confidence and ensure that the task is going to be done properly. So now I don't got to follow up with it. What I say is, Christine, this task takes 2 hours, so here's what I want you to do. I understand you got 2 hours of work, but here's for the next week or next month to 6 weeks, here's how we're going to do this. I want you to shadow me on week 1. I want you to be there, and I want you to physically watch me do the task, and I don't want you to interrupt me, not once. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to give you a pad, and I'm going to give you a paper, or a pen. And I'm going to ask you, anything that you see that concerns you, you don't understand why I did it that way, I want you to make a note of it. And anything that you see that you go, wow, I really like that, that's really cool, I want you to make a note of that, see? Because what I'm going to do is, after you've seen me do the task, I'm going to give you 1 extra hour. And we're going to sit down and go over everything that you listed on that piece of paper, what concerns you, what interests you, etc. Now, going into week 2, here's how we're going to do it. The task takes me normally 2 hours, so I'm going to build into my calendar ahead of time that it's going to take 3 hours to do it instead of 2, because here's how we're going to do it. We are going to do it together. And what I'm going to do is, as I do it, you're going to do it with me. And the areas that are easier for you, I'm going to get you right involved, hands-on. The things that are a little more challenging, I'm going to explain, and we're going to take a little bit of extra time to do it so that you can see and hear how this is done. You get the hands-on and you get to hear it, you're observing it, great. Then what I'm going to do is later in the week, I'm going to build another hour into that second week to sit down and talk to you about what did you like best, Christine, about this task that we did together. Next time, is there anything I can do to better help you? What do I need to explain? Great. Now we've spent 3 hours in 2 weeks, right? Week 3, notice the coaching that I'm doing. Week 3, Christine, here's how we're going to do it. On week 3, I'm going to build 3 hours into the task instead of 2, and we're going to do it together, but this time, you're going to take the lead on it. Now, I'm going to be there. Just in case you have any questions, you're going to look to me, how do I do this again? I'm going to be right there, but I'm going to let you take the lead on it and do it, where I'm going to observe. And anytime, I just need to have your permission. Anytime that I see that you're getting distracted or diverted, I'm going to step in and say, Christine, remember we talked about this, and I'm going to re-show you. Okay. Or anytime you have a question and you're not confident, I need you to stop and ask me. We'll build into the 3 hours. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to build an extra hour into that same week later in the week for us to sit down and again, powwow again. What did you like best? What did you observe? Where do I need to help you? Because in week 4, here's what my goal would be. In week 4, I want you to be able to do that task in 2 hours, but I'm going to build in 3. If you need me, that hour is available. If you've aced it and I'm able to observe, to see that you've aced it, because I'm going to be there, but you're going to do the task. If you've aced it, I take you to lunch. Good for you, right? I mean, I'm gonna do something if you don't, we got that extra hour. See what I'm trying to put some motivation to it, right? If I know that she's got a favorite restaurant, I'm gonna let her know, this is what I'm gonna do for you, okay? I wanna help you with this. Now, that being said, what have I just done? Notice, I know realistically we don't normally do this, but I want you to see the value of what I just did, not only for me, but for her and the organization. Here we go. Are you ready? Watch all of this. Number 1, what did I just do? In 1 month, even though it took me an extra 6 hours where it normally takes me 8, I just put 14 hours into that same task, but I did it by delegating it to Christine. So here's what I did. Over the next 11 months, I rewarded myself with 90 hours. What if you did that every quarter for an employee? Number 2, I just developed her skill level beyond what she was able to do. You know what that tells me? I can get more out of her. Again, what if I did that to more than one employee? And I did it every quarter. What if I was intentional? The third thing that I did is I was a good steward of the company's resources. Because I'm probably making more money than Christine since I'm her supervisor, right? So I'm getting the same job done for less money, which means I'm able to apply my attention to supervisory tasks that Christine would not have the privilege to do. The company looks at me and says, that's good stewardship. I've just done that. And number 3, what have I done? The best thing that I just did in all of this is I helped Christine have confidence to do something that prior to that, she wasn't sure she could do. But I showed her that I support her, I believe in her. So if I go back to Christine 6 months later to stretch her again, she's had a positive experience, hasn't she? She's more confident than to go, even if I don't think I can do it, if you think I can do it, we already have this experience that, okay, I'll take that journey with you. Could you imagine what this would look like in your department if you started to practice this over a 3-year period, even if you only did it every 6 months? What if you did it proactively for the next 3 years? Where would your team be? Where would their production be? Where would the efficiency be? And where would you be? The reason I say this to you is it took me 8 to 10 years of proactively doing this. And when I did, I looked at a team that I developed, overseeing a large volume of people, and